Looks good, Chad. We're going into the new garage and it's built to look like a dairy barn. Cars down here and gas pumps, and this is the basement. I got some farm equipment and stuff like that, like bullhorn weights, you know what they are? The different size weights you put on bull's horns and makes them curve down so they don't stab each other. So I'm gonna display stuff like that, you know. I get pitchforks and stuff, cow stanchions, anything oddball. Some of that stuff will all be gone if you don't have some of it down here. All the beams, the big beams and posts in here, came out of an old mill in Connecticut that was built in 1880. These beams here come out of a schoolhouse in Vancouver, British Columbia, all used lumber, reclaimed lumber. Then I designed and we manufactured all the brackets. And we have a process where we sandblast them and rust them. They look old. The only thing we did is these boards right here are new. We stained them brown and fogged on with white paint so they tried to match the other beams. This is the old way of doing things with these bridging, it's called. And then the boards were put on at a 45 to strengthen the building. Nowadays you use plywood, so you don't have to do that. This is the Duesenberg room. That one has Duesenbergs and special cars on this floor. It's some old and some new. The beams are new, but they're made to look old. They roughen them up with a chainsaw. Each floor is they're a little bit smaller up above because the walls come in. It's roughly 7,000 feet on each floor. Staircase goes here. This is all open here. Flooring is tobacco siding from Kentucky off a tobacco barn. Beechwood. Been all repurposed into flooring. These are corn cribs. There's will be big fans from Kentucky, Lexington, 6-foot diameter fans, moving the air up in a big circle. From the basement up, it'll be constantly moving air. These brackets we made, and I did them a little different. That part that comes down the post is longer on one side than the other. I designed them and then we fabricated them. And then we got all those 12-inch gas signs. They're cutting 16-inch diameter discs out of scraps and putting them in between the beams on both sides. We'll put the gas pump signs in the middle of them. Some of them ones that the automotives are showing from the 30s with the cars on and stuff, the rare ones. And it'll be a good place to display them. You go out on grade there. It's a bank barn, it's called, built into the bank, so it access the bottom from down there into actually the hay mow part. Now these trees, you can't see too good. They drop off quickly on the hillside. We're going to cut the tops off them in sections so you can see the horizon. Those are corn cribs, and modeled after a neighbor's farm over here, Leland Scott Farm. And we copied them exactly. The size of the boards and everything. Got a rusty tin roof. And basically all they are areas to protect these fans. These big fans will be here and pulling up air, but you'll be able to look over the top of the fan because the fans will be real close to the boards down there. It'll pull the warm air up and keep moving the warm air down actually in a big circle in the wintertime. In the summertime it moves the cold air in a circle. There's a gap behind these boards all the way down the basement. It's open so heat can flow up behind the walls so the walls stay warm. There's a real shallow attic up there. It builds up in there, then it comes out. There's openings on the side so it comes out. Because heat rises and it can't go any further, so it has to come out, then we'll circulate it with the fans. And when you feel the walls, they're still warm. And it's good to keep the building breathing too. It's going to be a conference room for the foundation. There'll be a big conference table up here, then motorcycles, snowmobiles, and toys. Pedal cars. Jared just acquired a 100-car collection that we'll display up here. I got like the oil can display. I want to hang clusters of them from the ceiling here and there so people can walk around them and see the whole car then. So this could be cool when we get done. And we have a trapdoor I can tell you about. I designed this whole thing in my head. This one hoist raises this trapdoor, and the other one is used to bring up motorcycles and stuff. And I might hang milk cans with those plastic buckets there, have the chain go into milk cans to look better. So you raise it all the way up, and it walks itself over there, and the door stands straight up. And if you see this, have you ever been in an old grain elevator? A wooden chute with metal edging, and it's all worn shiny from dragging grain sacks around, so that's why we left this shiny. All right, let's go. I'll show you the outside. The downtown Chev building was built in 1905 as a Chrysler dealership. In the 90s, I erected. This was the granite that was on it. It's called rainbow granite. And only one place in the world it comes from is a quarry in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Then the federal courthouse in St. Paul was wrecked in the 60s. And I have several blocks of this. It's called Larvik. Blue pearl granite comes from Larvik, Norway. It's the most expensive granite in the world. Parts of the business, you know, from the demolition end. And this is my son Chad. We don't know what's going to happen with the water, so we built an underground drain system in here, and the water's going to come off the roof and splash into that. There's pea rock or pebbles in between them, big rocks, and the water will soak in underground and go into a drain, so it won't erode the slope. That limestone there, we wrecked the University of Minnesota Veterinary Clinic. It was built in the 1800s, and those were window sills, and I saved them all years ago. I think in the 90s I wrecked it. We saved them, used them for walls around here then. And a border all around the pavers. The pavers are from Chicago Avenue, Minneapolis, between 34th and 38th. That's a hay trolley. It's an actual original one. And we just got it mounted up there, and we got some other stuff that's going to go on it. It's original brackets and everything. It's not functional, it's just decorative. Cupolas, those are from the 1800s. They're real cupolas. They're not functional, they're just for decoration. And these big boulders, they're going to be stuck randomly around here, so cars can't drive down here, but they'll be flat side up so you can sit on them, or you'll have a meal if we're having a picnic or something. They're going to be some on the slope and the rest spaced around up here. I'll show you something else down here that the guys come up with kind of trick. This is kind of the driveway into the garage. Can you see it, the design in here? Here's a V, and an A, and an F. It says VAF for Veit Automotive Foundation. They use red granite for those, and they're dirty now, but when they're clean, you'll see them better. Chad thinks like I do, differently. Most of the walls, he calls this an outcropping, so it looks like the dirt is washed away from random on the slope. And we've already put plantings in there for the springtime that are going to come up. Be different sedums and stuff in there, and evergreens. 99% of these boulders came from the landfill, from Vonco landfill, and I watched for unusual rocks. I'll show you one down here, and my son thinks it's the neatest rock there is. I found this last year, buried about 20 feet down, and as soon as we dug it up and I saw it, I told the guys get it over here so it wouldn't get lost in the shuffle. But it's just an awesome granite rock. So that's about all I can tell you. We at Veit Automotive Foundation wish everybody a happy New Year to all, and we'll see you next spring.